Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to another video. Today, I want to send my thoughts and condolences with everyone who is being impacted by the war that is happening between Russia and Ukraine right now. I think that as we're taking this to a cue for the stock market, we have to be aware of a few key levels, which we'll look over in a minute here. And I just want to make sure that people understand that the only thing that's for sure is that nothing is for sure. We have a template for what I think is going to happen today. And we have to just be ready for the potential for us to go higher, the potential for us to go lower, and the potential for us to be surprised. So we have to just be legitimately prepared for what could happen. We could have a very devastating day today. We could push down to 400 on SPY if we track the DAX. There are two key levels which we are potentially going to try to save for a reversal. But if you're thinking that this is the bottom, it might not be. So if yesterday was very challenging for you, we're opening up today significantly lower than the losses we had yesterday. What does that mean? You need to try to make sure you can survive to trade another day. The other thing I would suggest is that you want to try to think about in previous situations where you folded near the bottom. And again, I'm not saying this is the bottom, but ask yourself, when I folded the bottom before, what were the warning signs that led to that? What was the fallout? And are you seeing anything similar here right now? Because fear is very high, uncertainty is very high. The stock market hates uncertainty. Tomorrow, we're going to be hearing from the Fed monetary policy, which is likely going to be providing a lot of clues in terms of where they're going to be going from here. I think it is doubtful they're going to raise by 50 basis points in March now, but they're likely going to have liftoff. We do have 4 Fed speakers coming in today, so the rhetoric and the feedback that we get from that is going to be very important. So with that said, let's jump straight into the charts and let's go through. All right, so we're going to focus on ES instead of SPY to start, just because there's been a lot of overnight action. So where I want to start is actually going through 2 key areas here. So I'm going to flip over to a weekly chart, and what I'm actually going to do is just delete all these lines, and I'm going to show you what I'm noticing here. So what I'm noticing is this. We got 2, let's actually delete everything and redo it. So we got 2 key lows right over here. So these 2 key lows going back to July are very important. And the reason why they're important is because that is where we've been trying, keyword trying, to find a base here. So the 2 key levels here are 4126.75, and then we got 4140.77. So if we zoom in here to a shorter time frame chart, I just want to snap those 2 levels on here, and then we'll see what those look like. So as we look in a little bit closer here, here's what I'm noticing. We got 4126. So there's 4127, and then we got 4140. So if we just look and see what's happening here, let's actually go to an even shorter time frame. Let's go to 15 minutes. What's happening here? Initially, on the first leg down, we tried to bounce off that monthly low, the weekly low. Then we came back down for a dive. Dead cat bounce, went sideways, took our fresh leg down, and our low here is 4101.75. So we saved the psychological 4100 area, or 410 SPY. Dead cat bounce one more time, it double top, and then came back down. So for me, the reason why this is very important is because, first of all, we're below both key levels. At the open, normally what would happen on a sizable gap down is at least an attempt to pump it up. So where we're going to go, I'm not entirely sure. I think this is what's going to happen. I think we're going to go into here, probably going to do a little bit of chop and make an attempt to go back up and then probably come back down. Why? We're going to jump over to the DAX now and have a look at what happened here. So looking at the DAX, the reason why this matters for me now, let's look at the hour chart, is because when we actually lost this low of the day here, that is when we actually took our fresh plunge. At the open here, huge gap down. It pumped up once, pumped up into the next hour, then it dumped. Then we got the dead cat bounce, and on the new hour, we rejected off the key low. Right now, the DAX is down by how much here? DAX is currently down by 5%. At the low of the day, it was down by more. So at the low of the day here, we were down by about 5.5%. So these numbers are really big. And what this means is that we could be bottoming today, potentially. Everything tells me that we should at least be getting some relief at the open. The question is, when we get the relief, where do we stall out? Is it above or below 4127 and 4140? And then if we lose those 2 key areas, I'm going to be looking for the rejection. Last thing I'll point out here is just that if we now look at the SPY daily chart, let's look at the weekly chart actually here first. So now we can note that we fell below the green line. Technically, we will be opening up at a fresh low of the year. We're going to be below both these areas as well. So we want to watch those. But let's look at this. So if we go down to here, what is that? That's 4% down. So if we open up at roughly 414, that's about, sorry, from yesterday. Oops, my bad. So right now we're set to open up here at about negative 2.2% or about 9 points lower. If we push down to where we were in pre-market at 410, that's about 2.5% red. If we're going to track the DAX and go down by -5, that is where we get down to 400. So like I said at the beginning of the video, there is potential for us to push all the way down to 400 today. We also have another key thing to look at here is going to be Aapl. Let's actually see where Aapl set to open up. Aapl set to open at 154. The reason why that matters is because now we're going to be below the green line on the weekly chart. And we've already talked about this. The only other one left is going to be NVDA. Tesla yesterday lost that 50 weekly moving average. And for Aapl, again, biggest stock in the stock market. If it can't save 155, which is the low right here, we're probably going down to 150. And if Aapl loses the 50 as well, that for me is confirmation we're going to be going even lower. Last thing to point out here before Mason comes on is just going to be looking at the QQQ. So where a bear market's going to be defined is from the all-time high here of 408.71 times 0.8. We're going to be here at 326.968. The QQQ is going to be opening up in bear market territory. Where we close at 4 o'clock is likely going to tell us whether or not we're going to be going into bear market or if we're not. And maybe last thing I'll point out here is just if we do push down to 400s, again, if there's a lot of ifs here, if it happens, I would be looking for something similar to what happened here on ES, where we get a huge lower wick. And if we snap back, that is how we start to reverse. It might be today. I don't know, but at least the stage is set for the potential for a gap down pump up. With that said, I wish you guys all the best of luck today. And please just make sure you understand the risk out there. And if you're not okay with the risk or don't have a plan, it is okay to sit on the sidelines and do absolutely nothing. Wait for the right dip and then buy that dip.
Awesome. Thank you, Jay. So guys, I do not have too much for you. I think Justin said it all perfectly already about the gap down and the potentials today, so I will keep it brief. These are the pre-market levels I'm watching for intraday trading on the NQ NASDAQ futures here. 1300 was our rough low from this morning, so that's our support. 13K is a line in the sand below. Closing hourly or even 30 or 45-minute bars below 1300 brings more downside potential to like 12,500, even 12K. So be very cautious here. I don't think the bulls have a big margin of safety until they're back above 13.6. So 13,600 on the NASDAQ. Start getting a little warm on intraday trading above 13,300. But yeah, thoughts and prayers with everybody out in Ukraine. And pretty much fuck communism, man. So I'll leave everybody with today, man. Fuck the commies, dude.
There were some headlines regarding Taiwan too, so these things could escalate quickly.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for more details, we do have that bear market of 2022 explained, and maybe we'll leave that link in the description so you guys can go back and watch the full potential here. And otherwise, we wish you all the best of luck, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you, Mason.
Thanks, guys.